everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. Here. The lion. New music. So fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you doing this evening? Buenos noches, mis amigos.
I think that's Spanish for hello.
Yes, it does. It's Tuesday night in America. We are here, as always, with our Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable program. Again, you're looking at a different host today, Nick Rosario. I'm back for a second week. Apparently, the bunion moved to Sean's other foot. So he's still out for another week. So you have me to command the ship. I am here, of course, with my lovely panel this week. Next to me, the man of 1,000 impressions, the guy who never met a comedy he didn't like, Mr. Anthony Handy. And how we doing, Anthony?
I'm doing marvelous. I'm feeling a little bit clipped because you called me lovely. I didn't even notice. I have been
There you
using a
go.
new exfoliator and
That's right.
everything.
Fantastic.
If I shave, you can see my dimples and
That's
everything.
right.
Almost like Delilah.
You'll never be that cute, pal. Anyway,
stop it.
Andy, we have, of course, the lovely Delilah. You make me smile, Crespo.
Hey.
How we doing?
Hey.
Right, exactly.
Delilah, you make me
Beautiful.
smile. Okay.
Right, Delilah, you make me smile.
All right.
And of course, the man, the true king of late night, the guy who never met a show he didn't want to do. No, I'm just kidding. Our buddy Nathan Snell is going to be joining us this evening for a little bit. Nate, how we doing?
What's going on, y'all? I'm doing all right.
Very good, sir. Delilah and I are surviving this 10-degree Chicago winter we're going through right now. So it's cold outside. Stay inside if you don't, do you have to go anywhere? Stay inside. It's cold. But let's get ourselves started here. There's plenty to talk about. And one of the biggest things, the Bears have a new GM, Ryan Poles. This is fascinating, and this is going to be great. But first, I'm going to go to my fellow Bears diehard fan because I'm dying to hear what she has to say about this. Delilah, what do we think? What do we know? Ryan Poles, here we go.
If it's true that they've been listening to Dungy, God bless that man. And and the fact that he's finally listen to me. I don't know who he shook over there. I don't know. I don't know how he convinced anybody in that front office to actually listen to him because he actually knows football. And kudos if that's true, because that's what they were saying, right? That they brought in experts and he was one of them.
Yeah.
And so if he had anything to do with that, kudos to you, sir. Because one, the fact that he's coming from Kansas City, which, hello, right? Yeah. Kansas City for the fourth time has, moved out to the AFC conference, right? You can't overlook that. This man was, started scouting first for them, and guess who he brought, right? Patrick Mahomes. So
just the quarterback of their team. Right?
So obviously, who people are labeling baby goat, right? So all I'm saying is the man obviously knows how to build a team. He understands personnel, right? He understands how to put an a team together, but also the coaching pieces, right? The people that actually make it work. Because it's not just a team, right? We always think about the players first, but you can't have a team work without a proper coaching staff, right? Without the trainers, every piece matters, right? All those pieces matter in making something cohesive. So I'm excited about Ryan Poles. I'm excited to see if he can actually fix something that's been broken for 36 years.
And that's going to be the big question, right? Everybody's excited.
Good luck, sir.
Time to get to work, right?
Good luck, sir.
I like the fact that according to the sources and of the reports, they are letting him pick his coach. They're not going to influence that. That supposedly was part of his condition of being hired, is for him to make a decision on a head coach.
I do
like that. So, Nate, What do you think about this? New GM Ryan Poles for the Bears. What are your thoughts?
I think it's an interesting move. I'll be curious to see what it looks like. I think he's coming into a kind of a fluid situation. I think with the Bears, there's going to be a couple of things we're going to address. Akeem Hicks, all of them. He's got Justin Fields. He's got some pieces offensively. He's got his work cut out for him, but I think it's the start of something good at Chicago. You just got to give it. I give it about 3, 4 years.
I do agree with you there because we do have 34 free agents on the table, so it will be interesting who's brought back and who's just let go and how that goes. So, Mr. Handy, on that note, coming into a situation like this where you're taking over a team that has who we think is our quarterback of the future, right? What do you see here? What do you think about this Ryan Poles hiring today?
I think it was a good hire. I mean, Delilah, first of all, she touched on it. He spent, just looking at his resume, this guy spent his entire NFL front office career with the Kansas City Chiefs. And looking at how the Chiefs were performing around the time he came on board, they were consistently finishing in the bottom of the division. I mean, they did have the one good season in 2010 where they finished 10-6, but he's been there for 13 years. So he has seen what it takes from a front office level to rebuild a franchise from the ground floor all the way to the penthouse suite. I mean, now they've contended for a Super Bowl every year for the last 4 seasons. He was a guy, like Delilah said, he was like, hey, there's this curly head kid down in Texas Tech that likes ketchup on his steak we might need to bring in. So I think it's a great hire. I honestly do. I think it's a great hire. I'm interested to see what he can do in Chicago because Lord knows. I mean, you two are both Chicago Bears fans, so you've endured a lot of heartache and sorrow to include the now infamous Spanish audio programming version of the Double Dunk. No, senor. No,
I'm telling you,
senor.
man.
That is funny, though, isn't it? Right.
So we had a good last night, man. We're sorry you weren't there to see it. But
Yeah.
so I'm interested to see what he's gonna do.
Right.
I mean, I agree with Nate. Give it about 3 or 4 years. Who knows? He might come in and be able to make some subtle changes to at least get you up out of the cellar next
Right.
season.
See, that's my thing. Like, I know people, because we have a new hire now, everybody's like, all right, he's got to get in there. He's got to do this right away. You do have to give the guy time to figure out, get his footing, figure out what he's going to do with this team. Again, you have 34 free agents.
Exactly.
And some of them are at key positions. I was looking at the list the other day, and some of these guys were guys who started for me. I mean, I'm just Demir Bird, Allen Robinson, Hakeem. I always get them confused. Hakeem Hicks. But it's Hakeem Hicks. It's a free, So you got all, there's a ton of free agents. So we got to figure out what he's going to do there, who he's going to bring back, who's he's going to let go. Draft. How's that going to be? We don't have a first round pick, so our first draft isn't into the probably middle of the second round. So there's a lot that Mr. Poles is coming into, as you say. He's got a lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
But again, I like the fact that George McCaskey himself even went to the airport to pick him up in a Bears jacket. How funny is that, right? Like, he goes to the airport himself to pick Ryan Poles up.
You got to do what you got to do.
Right. They didn't think that he was – I think they definitely had him in mind as the candidate all along, obviously, but which is good. They had their focus, and they interviewed – they did some diligence. Obviously, they talked to other people. There was a bunch of other candidates they talked to.
That were well qualified, too, by the way.
Yeah, they were just as qualified as Mr. – probably a little bit more than Mr. Poles, possibly, never being a GM. But, again, they made a decision. Now, you keep your word. You let this guy come in, start doing his job. Look for the head coach. He's got a few interviews tomorrow with Caldwell and Dan Quinn. So, again, we'll go from there. Now we need a head coach. See what we bring in again, and that'll determine obviously what the roster will look like next year and what they can do for Justin Fields as your quarterback going forward. So I'm excited again, definitely, but time will tell, right? As always.
Absolutely.
So with that, we do appreciate the Ryan Poles talk. We do appreciate obviously our fellow people who always join us. I
Hi,
got a
everybody
couple of
watching.
right. Hello, everyone. I get Facebook users, so I don't know who's particularly watching, but you know who you are. So thank you for
That's
being
Kate.
out
That's
there.
Kate and Sid.
Was it?
That's Kate and Sid. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
It's
to
Kate
step
and
on
Sid.
you.
Okay, Sydney, of course. Thank you, Kate. Great to see you. And let's go on to our next thing, and because again, for my money, we had one of the greatest weekends of divisional round football that we've had in a long time with these games that we had last weekend. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was excited to watch these games. Our big winners, of course, were the Bengals, 49ers, Chiefs, and Rams. So let's do it. Delilah, what was your favorite highlight? What was your game? I mean, again, I thought they were all good, but what was your game of the weekend? What did you, what was your observation from this past
I mean,
week?
besides the obvious, right, where Chiefs and Bills, right, balled out. I know because I think everybody was excited because that was like the last game, and it was just so good, right? That's all we could think of. But I actually am also like the Bengals game, right? I thought that Joey B again, I agree that their O-line is sketchy, but for a man that got sacked 9 times to still have over 300 yards, keep his cool, and get his players where they needed to be so they could kick those field goals, right? And make those, make the plays that they needed to play to win. So I thought that was really exciting just to see. And then he pulled off the W, and people were doubting them. They didn't think that, and he said it too, right? He was like, yeah, everybody causes the underdogs. And even though we win, right? We went through perseverance. We're still the underdogs. And I know, right? Kate does have us calling him Joey B.
Yeah, she started with the Joey
But
B thing, right?
but yeah, no, it was a really solid game of football. Jamar Chase was Jamar Chase, right? He did his thing like he always does. But then he had Mixon, and he has Uzuma, which we don't really talk about too much. But he's a solid tight end, right?
He really is.
Like he had a touchdown for them when they won their wild card game, right? And so like, I think he's got a solid offense. The O-line is sketchy, but I thought that Bengals game was fun. I think because we always want to see what the future will be, right? Because we know we're starting to see the quarterbacks we kind of grew up with, or at least saw for the last 10 years, about to kind of starting to, retire, do other stuff. And to see, these guys kind of come in and kind of start taking over, at least building towards that, is exciting. It's exciting. I think watching the Bengals is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm sorry to the AFC that's already tough. Jesus, that is a tough conference. So I'm sorry that this will become even more challenging. But yeah, that game was super fun. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do next week or this week.
Mr. Handy, how about you? What was your impression of the divisional round weekend, sir?
I'm going to tell you this. And Delilah already mentioned it. Any man that gets sacked 9 times and get up and keep playing, that's heart.
Yeah.
That is nothing but heart, guts, and determination. My pop's college football coach, my father also played football at Savannah State. 30 years before the dawn of Shannon Sharp. But my father's college coach had a son, and he and I played little league together all through middle school. Now, he wasn't our coach, but he always would come out and talk to us and stuff like when we were on the sidelines. He had a thing called suck up a gut. No, seriously, you could suck up a gut when you winded and you tired and the sweat is dripping and you have sweated out about 3-4 pounds of salt and water and everything else and blood, and you don't think you could play another down. You suck up a gut, and that's what Joey B did on Sunday. He sucked up a gut, a kidney, a pinky toe. I mean, this man was like Robert Patrick as the T-1000. He was getting hit with shotgun shells, and he just kept coming. So that game. But the game for me, and I don't know if we're going to break this down all the way around the horn, but the game for me was that Bills-Chiefs game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was just that the defenses were gassed or if the offenses were just that potent, but I mean, we already know the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. He's already got a ring, and we've already seen what the massive piece of magic can do. That's another phrase that I think that we were given that we're going to keep using. But that boy Josh Allen, like everything, Pat. It was almost like Annie, get your gun. Everything you can do, I can do better. I'm gonna throw a touchdown. Oprah, you get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Everybody gets touchdowns. It was absolutely, it was something to watch. Like I was like, I'm sitting at home like,
I love it.
There's no way they go get. Oh my God, they got a touchdown. Yeah. Oh my God, they got the 2-point conversion. I said, oh my God, like 17 times.
Right,
that was crazy.
I mean, it sounded like a real good date. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know,
it was wild. By the way, nice comparison. I don't know if people got that one. There might be too many youngins watching.
Oh no, I caught it.
Which one was that?
Annie gets your gun.
I did that musical my sophomore year of high school. Yeah.
So nice. No, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I knew we were gonna talk about that one because it was exciting. But sure. Nick was saying, there were other fun games too. You know, Rams. I thought that was exciting because Maddie. Man, I got to watch you. By the way, no one in Chicago hates Matthew Stafford. I don't think you understand. Like,
right? We don't hate the guy.
We were actually like, man, you're playing for Detroit. Like,
so bad.
Sorry, bro. Like every game, you can see people just shaking his hand after the game.
Because the thing, when he came in, like we actually thought like, oh, this is a good kid. Like actually, he's gonna give us trouble, right? Like we're like, now we're gonna have like crazy division, like blah blah. Because we thought, okay, maybe Detroit will build around them. Didn't happen. They would get pieces, but it was never enough. So, to see Matthew Stafford win and move on is really exciting. I shared a video of that super fan who was wearing the Matthew Stafford, right? Like jersey. And he was like, he couldn't contain himself. Right. And so there's a joke going around that they think that Detroit fans are more excited for the Rams than the Rams fans.
Rams are, right, exactly.
Because it's just, it's fun to see. And then Cooper Kupp, man, that's my MVP. I've said it for the longest time.
Beast mode.
And,
boom.
He fumbled that one which is rare, by the way.
No, very rare.
So what did he do the next time? Boom, made 2 major plays that got them to the field goal range, right? So all I'm saying is that exactly. That was hard fought, by the way, because it wasn't like it didn't get dicey there. Because Tom Brady's gonna Tom Brady. We know that.
Right.
No one in the chat, by the way, was like, "Oh, the Rams got this," because we know.
Right.
See, wait a minute.
That was my big thing in watching that game, and that's why I think for me, as much as I enjoyed Bills Chiefs,
I
was really watching that Rams Buccaneers game because they're like, wait a minute, I've seen this before somewhere. It's 27-3.
I'm sorry, Anthony. I'm so sorry because I don't hate the Falcons.
Right. But people are starting to go, oh, it's 27-3, and you're like, okay, maybe the Rams ran away with this, and then you go, wait a minute.
Right.
Who is on the other side over there?
Right.
And when it got to 27-27, I'm going, oh no. Here we go again. Here it comes.
Oh no.
Tom Brady is coming.
No.
And you just sat there going, oh my God, are we going to see him do this again? Luckily, and I don't want to say luckily, I don't want to say it like that, but I took the, I wanted the Rams to win. I got the Rams going all the way to the Super Bowl.
You do.
So to me,
Cat Hughes, if you're watching, you've been,
Cat called that last year. And she was like, I'm telling you, he's going to the Super Bowl. So Cat Hughes, of course.
I'm nicknaming Cooper Kupp Garcon, man.
Garcon.
No one stuns like Gaston. No one's fun like Gaston. Yeah. With 10 seconds left, nobody runs like Gaston.
Exactly. The man's incredible. Like I said, he came out and he did what he needed to do for his team, and he made plays. That's what you do. Your playmakers need to make plays in situations like that, and that's what happened. And that's, again, same thing that happened again in the Chiefs-Bills games. We all talked about, but think about the day for Gabriel Davis. Here's a guy,
I said that,
very underrated, who comes up with 4 touchdowns.
And those are all Josh Allen's passes, by the way.
200 yards, 4 touchdowns, what in the blue hell? Where did Gabriel Davis come from?
He's their rookie. He's 22.
No, that's what I'm saying, though.
Well, nobody coming for him. Nobody was looking for him.
Stephon Diggs had 7 yards?
Listen,
that whole game. Obviously they were probably covering him like he was a blanket.
Oh, for sure.
He was double teamed, guys over the top, and all that.
That kid came through, man. First of all, think about the fact that he had 4 touchdowns. Do you know how many touchdown passes Josh Allen threw? 4.
No, that's a record. He broke the record for playoff touchdowns by one player. Gabriel Davis is now in the record.
So,
book.
like, let me
So there
tell
go.
you,
Right.
kudos to the Bills. Honestly, you got a good one there, man. You got to give that kid a chance next season if you can to not be maybe your number 1, but he should be your number 2. At least try him out.
That game,
Try him out.
That fourth quarter was like watching the last round of Rocky versus Ivan Drago. Period.
Well, I was bringing that up. Yeah,
not out of each other.
Yeah,
Can the Bengals keep up with the Chiefs? The Chiefs play like they did last week.
I was mentioning that it's like their O-line is iffy. It's gonna be hard, man. I think this definitely could be harder than definitely harder to pull off for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like the question only because
in
so many ways you look at what Cincinnati did in terms of this game where the defense was a lot of what happened.
Right, they did.
Keeping them in the game, kept them in the game, all that good stuff.
Did.
They had the lead. That was fine. The defense was playing well. Then, you got the time. You're going, oh no, Cincinnati going to show. Are they going to step up here? What's going to happen? And Joe Burrow stepped up. He got him on that last drive. Got him where they need to be.
And their kicker came through.
Yeah, McPherson nails the field goal.
Special teams.
Boom, there you go. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's.
Hey, David.
And then, hello, David from work. Exactly. Thank you, David, for watching. Janae, I'm going to be honest. I think it'll be hard. If it gets into a shootout, I think Kansas City nails them. Because as much as Joe Burrow is ready to
I agree.
Step, they play Cincinnati football. They can, defense control, time of possession. We got the running game with Mixon, and you got Jamar Chase. But if you're talking straight shootout, where you've got to start, touchdowns are coming in and out. That I don't know. That'll be a very hard game for the Bengals to win. So I think, and here, I want to say that I want to welcome to the program, Mr. Sean Spencer. Apparently the bunion has cured itself. He has made an appearance here, my friend. Sean, how are you doing?
Doing well. What's up, guys?
Yeah, buddy.
Sir. We appreciate seeing you. Well, let me ask you, Sean, since you're coming in right on where we are here, we're talking about, of course, these past weekend's games. What was your impression of the past weekend? Favorite memory, favorite game, favorite play, whatever. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it was the best weekend all year, to be quite honest with you. All 4 games, I think, just didn't leave anything up to the imagination. You weren't left wanting in any of the games. Even the San Francisco-Green Bay game, which was really low scoring, you got to see 2 top-tier defenses go at it. And you got to see one team in San Francisco that did something that is absolutely necessary. They played all 3 facets of the game: offense, defense, special team. Well, 2 facets because they didn't even play much offense.
Right.
But they played it when they needed it. They played it when they needed it compared to everybody else. But they played.
We see you, Delilah. She was like giving you sign language. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. I agree with y'all's pick, man. That last game was the best thing ever. And massive piece of magic is the best phrase I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that kills me. Listening to that,
we got on the shirt, Anthony. Get on that, Anthony. But you have to quote
someone we knew who could print up something.
But you got to quote Janae, right? That's Janae's quote.
It's good. It's. I got her.
Massive piece of magic.
Massive piece of magic. Look. Get yourself from the makers of Let's Talk Football a brand new T-shirt, Massive Piece of Magic by Janae Struther.
There you go. Fantastic. All right. Well, here's the other thing too. We're going to get into the previews a little bit later, but again, with these matchups themselves, what do you guys look for in terms of these games? Knowing we got Rams and 49ers, who the 49ers have had the number of the Rams, obviously, and Bengals Chiefs. We already kind of answered Janae's. I answered Janae's question. What do you guys feel about that? Chiefs Bengals. What do we think?
Biggest keys to the game that I can see as far as the Rams, the defense. I'm gonna say what I said last week. I'm gonna say it again this week. Rams defense has to come, show up, and be. Jimmy G's not a bad quarterback, but Jimmy G can be shook and rattled. Debo Samuel, there's your, you got to make sure that you do your best to whatever you can do to contain Debo Samuel, because do you think you winning, and then Debo will roll up and be like, what y'all got on my NFC championship? And then the next thing you know, the game's out of control.
Right.
And then as far as the Bengals and the Chiefs, I don't know, man. I mean, that you can play all the defense you want, but if your offense is getting beat up, I mean, if Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times by the Chiefs defense is going to be coming for his head. Does anybody know anything about Tyrann Mathieu? Is he going to be
he's
cleared to
obviously in
play or
concussion
anything?
protocol. I don't think we've heard anything yet about how he's doing, but that's a serious, as we all know, that's a serious thing, and it's hard to come back in a week from that sort of thing.
Nick Bosa did.
Well,
yeah, he did.
I'm just gonna.
I'm with you. He played, right? Obviously, he did. I wonder how smart that was on Bosa's part. Just saying.
Right, I know. I'm just saying, though. We've seen it happen, so that's all I'm.
Sure. So there's possibility, of course.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you think?
In the Chiefs.
Yeah,
game?
just real quick. Like I said, we are going to talk a little bit more about this later, but I'm curious because for me, just going into all of this, you're looking at the opportunity to have 2 different teams in the Super Bowl, which is something that I live for because I really do get tired of seeing the same, every couple of years we get the same team seem to be playing in the Super Bowl. So now that we know we're not going to get a Tom Brady, we're not going to get an Aaron Rodgers. Yes, we could still get a Patty Mahomes, but, with this new crop of, do we get a Joe Burrow into the Super Bowl? Do we get a Matthew Stafford after so many years of suffering in Detroit to finally break through and get that sort of those are the stories I'm going to be looking for this week. So I was just I just wanted your quick thing on what you think about all of that.
Yeah, no, I think, first and foremost, I think we need to recognize think about these top tier receivers, and they didn't go to major schools. You talk about, Delilah, you were talking about Gabriel Davis. He went to the University of Central Florida. We got Devontae Adams. I know he's out, but he played last week. He went to California State.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Eastern Washington for Cooper Kupp and Debo.
Yeah.
SEC played at South Carolina, but Anthony will tell you South Carolina is not what it used to be. You know what I mean?
No.
And it's not
since Spurrier left.
Right. So I think that's something that we definitely need to appreciate, and definitely segueing into Anthony in college football. I think that's something we need to appreciate. But as far as coming up now, Joe Burrow has the swagger of another quarterback that now seems to be like an old pro. He has a swagger of Patrick Mahomes, when he came against Tom Brady, 4 years ago now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Burrow is coming into something, and we got to shout them out, man. The first time they've been to the AFC Championship since 1988. And when they got there then, they got to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they ran into Joe Montana, but the Bengals, they're on a roll, and you know how I feel about the Rams. So, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it, no doubt.
For sure, my friend.
Ooh, it's going to be a fun football weekend. I think it's going to be another good one. It's going to be another good one, guys.
I'm looking forward to that. I've already bought my popcorn and snacks. I'm ready to go.
Don't forget the parachute pants.
Yeah, get your parachute pants.
Don't forget the parachute pants. Hey, man. I'm a big boy. All my pants
shameless
are
movie
parachute
plug.
bags. That's right.
One of the things that kind of run across my mind.
Yes, go ahead.
For me, Matthew Stafford versus Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. LSU
versus
UGA.
Georgia. There you go.
Oh man. I think either way it would be a great game. It's just, that would just be another SEC connect, because everybody lost their minds and their heads started spinning. We're like, oh my God, we got another SEC national championship. So
hey man, whatever works and whatever makes great TV. I want to see some good football.
All the college people are going to be excited if that happens.
Oh yeah.
No, not all.
Well, not everybody.
Not
sorry.
all the college people, right? Sorry, you won't be as happy.
In the Big 12 and the Big 10 are tired of seeing the SEC. I tell you what, though, here's side note, nothing to do with the games, but just the facet of it. I don't like to talk bad about people. I really don't. But I don't know if you all saw a video where a certain person in a bright yellow Big Bird coat sprayed everybody from their executive suite with champagne, and then got blasted on social media and turned around and said, I don't know why I just can't do what I want. And meanwhile, her little brother-in-law was twerking over in the end zone somewhere. I don't know. That's it. I just wanted to throw that out there. Mr. Mahomes, we like you. Look, it's like Cat Williams said about Hillary Clinton. The invite said Bill Clinton +1. He was the +1. You wasn't the one we wanted to see. Y'all are the +1s. Let Patrick do what he do, and y'all just sit down and enjoy the game. Nice. And I'm done with that.
All right, cool.
Okay, well, in terms of awkward segues, I guess this was one. But going to the longest running segment we have here on Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, we're going to go from champagne spraying to with Delilah. Delilah, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, the reason why I laugh, and I don't mean to laugh like so hard, but Mr. Handy has a great way of just bringing stuff up, and you just look at him and go, okay, I get what you're saying, but that could have, where was the place and time for that one? Like, you just came out. I mean, I appreciate, believe me, I'm not downplaying anything you're saying, but it's just funny that you pick certain times to just come up with stuff, and then people are going, what? Why did you bring that up right now? Like, what's going on? I'm not sure what that meant. What is happening?
If any of you spent 10 minutes inside my head, you would run away screaming.
That's probably true.
Listen, I've been with my wife for 12 years, and she does the same thing.
Okay. Fair enough, my friend. I love you. I personally think you're hilarious. But I do have to question sometimes. You just be like, well, I'm going to say this. Okay, great. And again, let it go, move on. We're moving on. We have diversity with Delilah this week. She highlights Billy White Shoes Johnson. Delilah, take it away.
Hey, everybody. I like taking it back to the 70s and 60s and stuff. So anyway, but Billy White Shoes Johnson, I like because he's I love his personality. If you looked at old tapes, he was known as doing the chicken dance when he scored a touchdown in the end zone. That's literally what he was known for. He did it in college. That's where it started, and he took it into the professionals. And he kind of set that tone for the touchdown celebration. He wasn't the first to do it, but he's the one who did it with swag. It said, I'm gonna put a dance to it. And he wore white shoes. Like, that was literally White's his nickname. So it's you got to celebrate personalities that kind of pave the road for what these kinds of things, right? Not just the football, but the fun parts, right? Like the other stuff that we kind of don't think of that people didn't really do, right? So anyway, he grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. So he's a Pennsylvania boy. He says he felt fortunate because he grew up in a small town, so he had to mind his P's and Q's, because everybody watches everybody, right? So if you're from a small town, everybody knows everybody. You gotta, you gotta behave, because then by the time you get home, your mom and daddy knows what happened, right? And they'll just be like, they'll catch you in a lie, right? They'll be like, hey, so blah blah blah, and they just let you talk. And so he said, his father was a police sergeant. Which in a small town Pennsylvania, black man as a police sergeant is a damn big deal. So his dad's a police sergeant. So again, that's another reason why he made sure, it's not that he didn't get in trouble, but it wasn't anything serious, right? It's just normal kid stuff. Mm-hmm. He said in an interview in 2020, he's like, I was blessed having good mentors coming up. Not to say I wasn't a knucklehead at times, but I was fortunate to learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from how other people had success with how they went about their jobs, their attitude, their demeanor, and I just tried to emulate that. As he reached his teens, he began playing all sorts of sports: football, baseball, basketball, and track. He said that in high school, when he would watch football on Saturdays and Sundays, he became a huge fan of this, New York Jets quarterback back in the day called Joe Namath. And what really drew him was that Joe Namath wore white shoes. Yeah, he did. And so he decided as a high schooler that he wanted his own white shoes. He was like, all right, I like this guy. I like that he's wearing these flashy white shoes. Now I want my own. And so he was also quoted as saying that we had a really nice shoe guy. Back in the day, we called them cobblers.
Right.
He was an Italian guy. He was really good. We just got him some leather shoes. He did them, and they looked like they were brought. They were bought. He dyed 2 pair, so he had one for practice and one for games. So he did have 1 pair, right? He had a pair for practice and a pair for games. So this was from high school, right?
Okay.
So this is kind of that sets the tone for for the individuality that he was already building. So in high school, he's playing all these sports. He was like, I like this guy Joe Namath. He's wearing white shoes. That's what I want to do, right? And so that's kind of how where that started, the white shoes part. So right, he was a very fast athlete, but he was only 5'9". And so that turned off a lot of the big universities at that time from actually recruiting him. So he actually ended up going to Widener College in Pennsylvania, which was a small Division III school. And, he became a member of Alpha Phi Sigma fraternity there, Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity. Fraternities are kind of like a big deal in a lot of the colleges and universities. One of the most colorful and amazing open field runners in that college football day, right? He graduated with over 20 school game, season, and career records. Wow. During his time at Widener, which was between 71 and 73, he shattered no less than 9 all-time NCAA marks, 12 Middle Atlantic Conference records. Johnson scored, this is college career, 62 career touchdowns, rushed for 3,737 yards, and accounted for 5,404 all-purpose yards. He was named All-American in 72 and 73 by the American Football Coaches Association and the Associated Press. Johnson was also part of the first class when it kind of happened to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame later on in 1996. His play helped build a foundation for the national championship teams that would follow in that school. So again, little guy had to go to a small school, but he made the best of it, right? We kind of been talking about that today, right? Like the last few shows and stuff. So small guy, but he had to go to a smaller school, but he decided he's going to go do what he had to do, right? Not too long into his collegiate career, Johnson decided to have a little more fun. He wanted to break up the routine of a typical touchdown with a little flair. And so he was quoted as saying, I decided that if I scored, I was going to do a dance. So he talked it over with his friends, his teammates and stuff. And he was like, I think Soul Train was out at the time. It was like 1972 when it started. I'm going to dance. And he kind of asked them, like, what do you think we should do? And that's where the funky chicken came from.
The funky chicken.
So he decided that, talking over with his teammates, saying like, Soul Train was out, people were dancing. He's like, I gotta do something like cool, fun, whatever. And they came up with the funky chicken. Sure. And so that's how he came up with his touchdown celebration. He's like, it's easy to do, right? It's fun. And people thought it would be, he's like, people are going to think it's cool. And he's right. Like, people were all over it, like in college. Like, they loved it, right? They were like, and so the dance brought the whole crowd to their feet. And suddenly Johnson was a star in college, right? As I said, so in college, he was a kickoff returner. With his speed and quickness, again, he also played occasional offense. And then he was drafted by the then Houston Oilers. I don't know if you guys remember them. He drafted him in the 15th round of the 1974 draft. As a rookie, he began celebrating touchdowns again. He took that with him. So again, he took that whole style, his touchdown celebrations, doing the funky chicken. He took that into the NFL. At the time, before like the different rules and stuff, there was no penalties for that. So he was, he was able to do that kind of stuff. Anyways, in his rookie year, Johnson started 5 games because this was also during the time with the weird strike guys. So like this, when he came in, the weird strike was happening. So there weren't a lot of guys playing. There were a lot of games played, right? And so just put that into context. So in his rookie year, he played 5 games, caught 29 footballs for 388 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for a 3rd score and had 409 punt return yards and 785 kick return yards. Again, this was all like his rookie year. 75 came. That's the season where he actually started every game. He hauled down 37 passes for 393 yards and a score. He also picked up 612 punt return yards for a league-leading 15.3 yards per average and 3 touchdowns and 798 kick return yards with another score. Insane numbers as a kick returner. Basically, they're also saying he's the one who people studied, like, Devin Hester and these kinds of like kick returners. He's kind of that he set that bar, and obviously look at these numbers, right? So he kind of set that bar. Because of that, Johnson was voted to his first Pro Bowl and selected as a first-team All-Pro. After that year, based on his electric, return game. 76, again, 47 passes, 495 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 403 punt return yards, and 579 kick return yards.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? We're like, ugh.
No, it's...
Boom, year later, right, 77. Did not start a game at receiver, but he did catch passes. He caught 20 passes for 412 yards and 3 scores. So, because we were those guys that sometimes would play receiver. He just didn't start as receiver, but they would put him in a few times. Yep. Johnson was voted again to his 2nd Pro Bowl, received a 2nd first-team All-Pro nod on the strength of his 539 punt return yards and league-leading 2 scores. Again, 15.4 yards per return average. He also returned 25 kicks for 630 yards and another score. Unfortunately, in 78, he sustained a knee injury, so he didn't really get to play as much. It was very limited. And his team advanced to the AFC Championship, but they got blown out by the Steelers. Following year, he was still out. So for 2 years, he was plagued with his knee injury. Again, Houston got blown out by the Steelers again in 79 for the AFC title. Would Johnson have made the difference? I don't know. We'll never know.
We'll never know now.
Just saying, those 2 years that they did advance to a few, what could have made a difference for them, they were defeated. He did come back in 81. So still bothered. The Houston Oilers released him in 80 because, he was injured. So he went to play for Canada for a little bit in 81, but he proved that he still had it. So even for Montreal, they were not a good team back, at this time, Johnson shined. He had 65 receptions for 1,060 yards with 5 touchdowns and 597 punt return yards. So his 1 year in the CFL showed NFL teams that they could take a shot. Guess who he went to play for? Atlanta. So in 1982, Atlanta decided to take I know, right? Atlanta decided to take a chance on Johnson and signed him for that 82 season. He had 2 receptions for 11 yards just because he was starting, but he also returned punts again, had 273 yards on 9 returns. So that was kind of his first year back. 83, they were like, all right, we're going to give him a more active role. This was under a new coach at the time, Dan Henning. And so he was like, we're going to give you a little bit more of a role. Good idea, because again, White Shoes had a career high 64 receptions for 709 yards and 4 scores. He added 489 punt return yards and another touchdown. Johnson's breakthrough year led to a 3rd Pro Bowl and 1st All-Team. He also that year got named NFL Comeback Player of the Year, right? Because when you put up numbers like that, after an injury and spending a year in Canada, right? They're like, all right, that's cool. So again, 84 with the Falcons, caught 24 passes for 371 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, by that point, he couldn't do the funky chicken because in 84, that's when they passed that Gastineau rule, who used to But the reason they put that rule is because he used to celebrate after sacking quarterbacks.
Yeah, he was an excessive sack quarterback celebration guy. Mark Gastineau for the Jets.
Correct.
Yeah.
So because of that, no one can celebrate.
Gastineau ruins everything.
Yeah. So because of that,
the no fun league.
yeah,
That's right. No, NFL. Gary Granville, the No Fun League.
Mhm.
You know what NFL stands for? Not for long when you make calls
yeah.
like
So after that rule, that's exactly what people started calling it.
that. No Fun League. NFL, baby.
So fortunately, he couldn't do his funky chicken dance anymore. So he was like, whatever. So he was like, it didn't matter. As you know, we know now that some of that was amended, right? Like you still can't, obviously, you can't celebrate after sacking because it's still a penalty, but you could do your touchdown celebrations. So they allowed back,
Right.
which is so there has been an amendment to that rule somewhat, but it has to be a touchdown. That's the key. Touchdown celebrations are okay again. Anyway, but that was just funny because he came back. He's like, "No funky chicken dance."
That's what he's known for,
right? Yeah. So he shrugged it off. Again, cut 62 footballs, right, in 1985 for 830 yards and 5 celebrated touchdowns, just not with the funky chicken dance. Remember, right shoes, right? He still got flair. So, my man still have flair. He retired in 1988. That's when he decided to kind of call it quits. He ended his, he added before he retired 3,370, 317 yards, 6 touchdowns on punt returns, and 2,941 yards, 2 scores on kick returns. So again, just massive, massive talent. Ended the NFL career with 4,211 yards and 25 touchdowns. Again, think about the fact that he's a kick returner. So most of those touchdowns was as a kick returner. Sometimes when they would pay him on offense, right? Yep. But most of that was as a kick returner. Again, this is why, they talk about how Devin Hester used to study this guy, and all the, a lot of other big names that we think about who now also kind of run it back, right? But he set that tone. So again, he made the NFL's 1970s and 1980s all-decade teams. He made the 75th and 100th anniversary all-time teams. Oh. And again, like I said, he got inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 96. However, he's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's the only person from that class that made the 75th anniversary team who is not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. He's currently the only member of that NFL's 75th anniversary team who's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Yeah, it is. So again, after his retirement, he actually spent some time in the Falcons organization as an assistant strength coach and conditioning coach. Now he's actually coaches high school. He says he actually likes it. He coaches high school in Duluth, Georgia. Okay. And he basically says that he likes working with young people and that basically this is what he was quoted as saying. He's like, I would like to think that the kids are motivated by my NFL experience, but I don't harp on the fact that I played and how long I played. I just tell them that I was given an opportunity and I took advantage of it to the best of my ability. And what's to say that they can't do it with that when that opportunity arises too? But they've got to position themselves in a way that they'll get that chance. Everybody talks, but they don't have a clue what it takes. And I tell them it starts right now. So I actually do love that that's what he's doing, like mentoring youth and telling them like, and I like that he's not one of those guys that like, I play for the NFL, right? He's like, he's like, but he uses it to motivate, but he doesn't just like shove it in their faces. And instead he says in a way as a coach and mentor should, which is if the opportunity comes up, you got to take advantage, right? Again, played in a small school, right? Widener College. I don't think anybody knew what that school was except for like football, maybe super diehard football, college football folks. But he took advantage. He still went to the pros, put up monster numbers, set the tone for celebration touchdown, set the tone for kick returner, like just legend. And honestly, Pro Football Hall of Fame, I don't know what is your deal. I think to read that stat that he's the only man who made it to the 75th anniversary team, and he's the only one that's not in
That
the Pro
just shows you
Football
what
Hall
the
of Fame.
peers and the sports writers thought of it.
So
It does
all
make
I'm
sense.
They
saying,
appreciated what White Shoes did, but just the Hall of Fame committee did
like,
not, I guess.
come on, man.
Yeah,
Listen,
ridiculous.
like,
Man.
anyway, but Billy White Shoes
Billy White Shoes
Johnson
Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. All right, thank you
with
very
the
much.
funky chicken dance. Let's get
That's
it. And the white shoes.
That's
Because
right.
if Joe Namath, another name people probably football people
That's right.
know,
We can
but
talk about
folks
Joe
remember.
another time. That's another story.
Broadway.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah,
that was his influence. Think about that as a high school kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean is you get inspired in such weird ways, right?
Oh, no,
when
for
you watch
sure.
football.
Absolutely.
So,
Inspiration
all right.
can come from anywhere.
Billy White Shoes Johnson. I
There we
love
go.
it.
Thank you, Delilah, again for another great presentation of
problem.
Diversity with Delilah. Billy White Shoes
I-
Johnson.
Yeah,
Let
that
us
was a
move
fun
on.
one. That was a
Right,
fun
no,
one.
it was a good one. But you know what's funny too? Again, not taking away from anything you said there, but it's always funny. Like, I don't know if anybody caught it, but she was talking about the cobbler. Why is it that Italians like either make great suits or great shoes? Like, what is that?
That was his quote. I'm not
Right.
mine.
That's what I'm saying. But you think about it. Who makes great suits? Little
I
Italian
don't know.
guys. They make great tailors. And then you got the cobblers were all old Italian
I
guys
didn't say-
making their shoes. Like, phenomenal. That's all I'm saying. Is little
I
Italian
just want
guys
to put it
making
out
suits
there.
and shoes.
That wasn't my quote.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
Hilarious. What do you mean?
William.
Yeah,
William,
just-
you come and see
You
me.
kids are nowadays, you got to
I'm gonna make you a
respect.
nice-
Let me make you some shoes.
I'm gonna make you a nice. I'm gonna make you a nice size
Right.
10. You come down, you see me in South. We got you covered.
I'm fun bull. No, I'm kidding. I
No,
respect that.
I was laughing. I was laughing when I was reading his quote, though.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, we
That's
had this
awesome.
Italian guy who's a cobbler.
Hey, they make
Hey, Nick-
shoes and
hey, Nick.
suits. That's what they do.
Hey Nick, does your guy make nice shoes? Is he Italian?
Hey, we don't talk
You
about
got-
my guy on this show anymore. You guys tell me I got my guy over there. I'll tell you this. I tell you, no, I'm just kidding.
That was good.
We keep my guy is going to be known as my guy. I can't give any information more than that.
My guy.
He's just my guy.
My God.
Let us move on, though. Well, I
That
don't know.
was
This
so
is fine. You guys like keep going this way, but
No, I'm sorry. That was
no,
hilarious.
don't never
No, it's
apologize,
just-
Delilah. Don't
I-
ever
I remember-
apologize.
I
Yes,
remember.
Mr. Handy.
I'm sorry. I just remember
That's
growing
okay.
up watching
Go right
that
ahead.
guy, and I thought that was one of the coolest things that I had ever seen because nobody else ever did that at the moment.
Right.
Right.
At that time,
Get it?
it's like.
But here was this guy doing it, like Delilah said, the Soul Train dance, and
Right.
it was just, and you're right, he did. The next person that I can think about that really had a significant solo touchdown dance behind that was Dion's Dirty Bird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even Dion said he used Billy White shoes.
Like I
as an
said, he
inspiration.
really influenced a lot of
Well,
people.
he a lot of young, black players, of course.
Jesus.
You got to look up to somebody, right? And I think that's part of the, you find the one guy and you go from there. All right, ladies and gents, we're going to move on to what I like to call news and notes because not only do we have specific things, but there's always things that are still going on. And today was no exception. We talked about the Bears getting a new GM, but I think one of the other important things that happened today, Sean Payton announced he was stepping away from the New Orleans Saints, but did not give a clue to exactly what he was going to be doing next. Is he retiring? Is he going to get a sweet offer from somebody and jump right into coaching again and go to another team? So let's take a moment to discuss this a little bit. We'll start with Sean, our little guest this week. Sean, what do you think about this Sean Payton news?
First and foremost, I want to shout out my guy Brandon Davis. I feel for you, brother. Diehard Saints fan. Put up a couple posts, struggling, dealing with it. He's upset, but he understands. And I mean, this is just, in 2 years, 1 year you lose Drew Brees, the next year you lose Sean Payton. Look, he's had almost a decade of success. He took the Saints to their only Super Bowl title. Like we all remember them as the Aints. I gotta shout this guy out. He's amazing. I'm gonna hope that this is just like a situation where he's like, let me just go to Cancun, let me just have some time,
Right.
but he still has the itch where it's like, I'll be back, I'll be back. Man, I just want to come back. But hey, if this is a true retirement, hey, shout out to this guy, man. I mean, he's done something that a lot of us didn't think could be done.
Right.
With the Saints going to the Super Bowl and the timing and what he did for the city, him and Drew Brees, and that combination. Everybody talks about Brady
Belichick and
and
Brady.
Belichick, yeah,
Yeah.
but Payton and I mean Sean Payton and Drew Brees, that combination,
It's a good one, man.
okay,
It's good,
it's a
man.
good one, man.
Mr. Handy, you watched obviously your Falcons play the Saints twice every year. What sayeth you on this subject, my friend?
You know, Sean has a team. There's his team in the National Capital Region, and they're looking for a name right now, but they'll have one, and they have a rival that is only a mere 6-hour drive from here, and it is one of the
Shout out to
fiercest
Dallas.
rivalries. It is one of the fiercest rivalries in NFL football. But I can honestly say that the rivalry between the Falcons and the Saints is in the last, at least in the last 15, 20 years when they both were good together,
Yes.
would be just as equal as Dallas and Washington when they were both in their prime years. And I'm gonna tell you, every year Saints are on the schedule. Basically ran the NFC South. Is like, nope, we got the Saints on the schedule. We got to pray our way through this one. I wish the guy much success in whatever it is he decides to do. If he does decide to retire, because I remember the Saints pre Sean Payton, pre Drew Brees. I don't know. I mean, my personal thought is that I think that Sean touched on it, that Drew Brees retires, and then I just don't think he felt like rebuilding after that. I think he's gotten to a point where he doesn't want to have to rebuild a team, So do I think he's done? I think he'll probably hang around the game in some capacity, but I don't know if he'll come back and coach.
Okay, fair enough. Delilah, go ahead. Give us your opinion on this whole Sean Payton matter.
No, I mean, I feel like he kind of paid his dues, and if this really is his retirement, he's more than earned it. I have my heart is out there for Saints fans because I was playing the Saints Go Marching In songs because it's so exciting. I'm sorry. New Orleans is a fun town, guys, y'all. If you haven't been down there, there's the whole energy of that city. Oh my God. And when they were winning, and who doesn't, even if you don't like, the team, who doesn't want to play the Saints Go Marching In, right? It just kind of draws you in. You kind of want to just sing along, and it's just one of those things. And so basically, if this is his time, and again, I know that was after Drew Brees retired, but both of these men put in a lot of time. They got that Super Bowl win, and both have a nice retirement. Joy, Jesus, maybe I don't know if he'll come back later another time,
Right.
but for right
That's
now,
true.
let him enjoy his retirement, and then if he decides to come back, it's up to him.
I'm
Nick,
with you on that.
Nick, real quick. Hey, Nick, real quick. David,
Yeah.
it's not happening. He's not coming to Dallas. Just wanted to put.
Oh, there you go. Right, David Wright getting excited, ladies and gentlemen, that a coaching change might happen.
Kyle, Kyle.
Mike McCarthy getting ousted from Dallas at some point. Is that what we're saying, David? It's okay. I'm with you on that one. That would be great for you guys. But McCarthy should go. But no, again, Sean, he could probably write his own ticket anywhere. I mean, here's a guy who's got many years in the NFL, and yet he's still a young man. He's not very old. Guy who's coached for years. He's a proven winner. He took the Saints, turned them around, made them a respectable program. So yeah, as far. Wait, who's that? Who's talking? Who turned on their television? No, it's okay.
Facebook popped open. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all right. Yeah, Facebook. Say hello, whoever that was. No, but I just think Sean, Mr. Payton, not Sean Spencer, but Sean Payton. I hope he comes back. I'd love to see him coach again. People say, maybe he can coach the Bears. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves again. we got our GM doing the search. I'm sure they reached out to Mr. Payton. Because again, that's just what you have to do. That's part of the process. But let Sean decide what he's going to do. Like you said, if he wants to take 2022 off, take a year off, then come back the next year. Hey, the man has earned it. Let him do whatever the hell he wants. But another man, to move on from that, who also is contemplating the old, let me hang him up, Mr. Tom Brady, the Kate Alverson hero of her life, Mr. TB12, went on his podcast today and spoke a little bit about this. And and by the way, Mr. Tom was talking, you kind of got the feeling that maybe he's going to wrap it up. Delilah, what do you think about this, Mr. Brady hanging it up at the age of 44? Not quite 45 yet, but the age of 44.
It's a few months short. It's a few months short.
Right.
But so I've been saying as a joke, and I've been saying it as a joke that's up to his wife Giselle. But when I say that, honestly, it's a partnership. When I say that, even though I was joking and stuff, it is a partnership, and that's exactly what he brought up. The man has been playing football for over 10 years, has put his body, which is what he actually brought that up, that his family is like, we're tired of seeing you get hit every day. Like, we're tired of seeing you, because he does, right? Like, we're tired, we see you get, whatever. And so I have to respect someone that is like, you know what, I kind of do have to talk it over with my family. And if they tell me, no, hang it up, or if they give me another year, I think that's the most respectful thing ever, right? Because they are in a partnership. That's what marriage is. Like, I don't, so like, if he feels like, hey, I want to spend time with my family, think about how long he's been in the league. But everybody thinks that football just happens and, they go to training, they do a little. No, football, if the real got people who want to win, which obviously we know TB12 was, they train all year.
Well,
they train all year. And as we know, he was one of those guys, especially now in his 40s. When as much as you think, like, as much as you can get in shape, the energy is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, your energy changes. It's just facts. It's physiological. Your energy changes. And so he has done in the last few years has been in a very strict diet. Yes. And he has the money to be in that diet because they literally have a chef.
Well, that literally got more money than they know what to do. They can support all of us and still have.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not easy to do. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not easy to do. He literally had to give up 90% of his time with his family. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't there as much as he should have. And that's basically what he was saying in his podcast. Yeah. So, like, if he retires, the man has 7 Super Bowls. Like, seriously, like,
he's been to 10 of them, right? Like,
he's been to 10. He's made 10 Super Bowl appearances. He's won 7. Yeah. He's won countless division titles. Countless, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I can think of another superstar who's been to 10 championships, but it's only won 3. But whatever.
But all I'm saying is that he's broken every record that you could think of as a quarterback. Yes. That I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, probably almost every single one, right? Because we kept seeing every week.
Pretty much owns almost all of them.
Every week they would say, "Oh, he broke this record, he broke that record, blah blah blah." You know what I'm saying? So, congratulations to the GOAT. Like, and I honestly don't see a problem with him hanging it up this year. And if he come back and said, like, it's a final hurrah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But all I'm saying is,
no, it's good for Tom. Sean, let me ask you this. Let's come at this from a little different direction. Let's say Brady hangs it up. TB12 says, "Okay, I'm done." What does that do for the Buccaneers, who pretty much still have their team intact? Now you lose your quarterback. What do you do there?
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting. First and foremost, I would not be surprised if Sean Payton's future and Tom Brady's future kind of coincide. Because, I mean, think about this. You lose Drew Brees last year for Sean Payton. And what else happened last year? Tom Brady came into his division.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So it's one of those situations where it's kind of like, oh, now I lose my star and I got Tom. Okay. But if Tom leaves, maybe Sean's like, oh, okay, maybe we have a shot. I don't know. But hey, shout out to Kyle saying they're going to be real rebuild mode if he's out. I personally think you mentioned it on Let's Talk Football Sunday. I personally think you're good. They've been preparing for this. You can't sit here and tell me that Tom is not in here talking to Kyle Trask,
Kyle Trask,
or I know Blaine Gabbert is on his
Is
last
there.
year, but
Right.
he, at the same time, as the same credit we give to him talking to Kyle Trask, I think he also, I mean, Blaine Gabbert hasn't got any PT, but you still are in the same room with him. You're still under his tutelage. You're still getting all of that. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. And the other part about it is that we all know that Tom Brady came with a package deal. It wasn't just Tom that came. Leonard Fournette came after him. Gronk came with him. You know what I mean? They had Evans, Godwin, these guys. You got Ndamukong Suh. You got a whole bunch of guys that said, "Oh, Tom's going over here.
Right.
Oh, word. Yeah, let me go ahead and go that way." So I think when Tom goes, kind of like in Green Bay, I think some of the dominoes start to fall. Then you start thinking, okay, who else is going to go? Because Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask are not Tom Brady. Them combined are not Tom Brady.
Right,
so there will be a significant drop off.
Sure.
And there's a lot of stuff going, because if Arians keeps pulling his best Bobby Knight impression,
boy, right? How about it, huh?
Yeah, he ain't gonna be there much longer.
Coach too, right?
Yeah. I personally, Katie, I love you. I don't think Tom is going to go. That fire is not out. But I'm not joking. You know, I love you, Katie, but I think Giselle is kind of like, I don't know if I want you here all day. I might need you to go out there and play. And at the same time, it's like Giselle's also like, well, I'm the breadwinner. So what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be a stay-at-home dad? Are you going to have another career? Like,
please. Oh my God. I want to say reality.
He started the clothing line, right?
Yeah,
he did. Let me see that reality show, please, Lord. I will tune in. Oh my God, I will tune in. Are you kidding me?
Not the Bunchins.
Brady as Mr. Dad. You know how many people would watch that?
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh, Mr. Mom. Sorry, Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom over there.
I know at least one person who would miss an episode, and she's watching us right now.
I would watch that.
Exactly.
I think that could possibly happen.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
But you know what? But a lot of guys go that reality show route is because it's easy money, and you don't have to do much.
No, that's true.
It's easy money. You don't have to do too much. It's not scripted.
I mean, Cromartie had a reality show on the USA Network for a hot minute.
Yeah, that's true. He did, didn't he? Right. You're right. That's true.
But yeah, I'm with you, Sean. I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, I was joking, but I kind of feel like I'm not joking.
That's true. It's no disrespect or anything, but yeah.
No, exactly. Anthony, I'm going to come to you with a little bit different. We'll get off of Tom for now. There's also, of course, another quarterback who is going to be contemplating his future in the next few months, and that's, of course, the guy who plays up north of where I'm from, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Let me get your opinion on that one. What do you think is going through Aaron's mind as he loses another playoff game and his team doesn't get to the Super Bowl again?
Well, we see what happened we see what happened prior to the season kicking off, all the off-season shenanigans. It was obvious that there's something there, and he hasn't exactly come out and said what. Like, nothing specific, but he's not happy in Green Bay. But he basically pulled I'm just going to sit back and let them wonder whether I'm coming back. I'm not going anywhere, and then I'm going to show up, and I'm going to run a table this year, and I'm going to show everybody what I'm capable of. I think it was going to be either a flex for more money or a flex for a trade, one of the two. I think since, another disappointing end to a season with a playoff loss, I'm 99% he's gone out of Green Bay. Oh, yeah. I don't know where he will end up, right. But after all, I mean, you really would have to have some huge cojones frijoles in order to do and say all the things that he did preseason, middle of the season with the immunization and the big toe and all of that stuff, and perform how you did in the playoffs, and then say, "Hey, mom, can I have my old room back?" You know what I mean? That's like the equivalent of mom out and punching you in the face and storming out the door, finding out that life sucks, and then having to come back. Now so I see him being gone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I just think, how can you stay there? I think you have alienated part of the fan base. I think, and even if you look at the way he played in that last game, not good at all. I mean, you can, again, it was a defensive game, whatever, but he did not play well. He missed a lot of open guys because he was too busy trying to get Devontae Adams the ball, and it just seemed like he totally just never, they never got going, and he never. I don't know. It almost seemed nonchalant. I don't want to say he didn't care because he's a competitive guy, but just even walking out of the tunnel at the end of the game, like not saying anything to anybody, just like, all right, I'm out of here. Let me go to the locker room, get my stuff off. Let me get out of here. Like, I just feel like you said, he's done in Green Bay. Wherever he ends up, we're not going to know. Maybe Denver. There's a couple of places that want quarterback. Hell, maybe he goes to San Francisco somehow. I don't. I mean, they got Trey Lance, but they obviously aren't going to keep Jimmy G. So who knows what the hell is going to happen? There's just so many questions, but I just think, interesting enough, we got two of the greatest quarterbacks to play in that sense, probably possibly coming to the end of their careers.
Yeah.
So we'll keep posted on that.
And you touched on the thing with the fan base. It's like, I think that a good leader,
he alienated the fans, no doubt.
Going to take the team that they love to the Super Bowl potentially. But on an individual level, I agree with you. There's probably a goodly amount of people in Green Bay that are like, my feelings wouldn't be hurt if he left.
Right, exactly. Well, enough of the quarterbacks who may not be playing anymore. Let's go to the teams that are still in the conference championships this weekend. Let's go to that. We got 49ers, Rams, and Chiefs and Bengals. Chiefs and Bengals, excuse me. I'm kind of hungry. I'm thinking about my breakfast in the morning. I'll take an everything bagel with bacon and cheese, sir. No, but so these games here we got this weekend, obviously, two great ones, I think. I'm hoping that these will live up to the billing, to be honest with you, because, again, we know that the 49ers have had the Rams number this year and that the Chiefs are the juggernaut against with the upstart Bengals here. So let's go ahead. Let's start with Delilah. Delilah, what do you think about this weekend? 49ers, Rams, Chiefs, Bengals. Give it to me, baby.
Who are we starting with? Does it matter?
Girl, you start with whatever you want. That's what I'm saying. You give me your opinion. You tell me whatever you want to tell me. You want to whisper sweet nothings in my ear? We'll take that too. Let's go.
Oh, Lord.
I'm on it. Let's do it. Come on.
Kev, he didn't mean it. Kev, he didn't mean it.
You're lucky Kevin knows you. He would laugh.
Kevin knows I'm not. Come on.
No, I know. If he wasn't at work, whatever. But
next to you, sorry, Kim. If you're next to
no, he's DJing.
Sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah,
he's out there making that bread, man.
That's right. To come home to you, baby. See what I'm saying?
Silly.
Anyway,
so here's okay. So I'll just start in order, right? We'll start with 49ers versus Rams.
Do, girl. You know how we go. You know how we do it here.
I'll just start with the first one.
Roundtable, baby.
So let's start with 49ers and Rams. I'm not going to count out the 49ers just because the way they started the regular season and now they're in the playoffs and they're knocking out teams that they were supposed to knock out, right? So I'm not going to count them out and go like they're going to, because Shanahan, I don't think he gets enough credit as a coach.
Okay.
Because because I was reading a lot about his preparation for the last game, and basically what he does, and I know everybody that watches the tape, but the thing is that he knows okay, he knew that Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers, but the one thing that he knew that they had their special teams sucked. He knew that going into that, he exploited that. So what I'm saying is he's really good at knowing my team has Jimmy G. No hate on him. He's a serviceable quarterback, right? Right. He's a serviceable quarterback. He gets things done. He got people to the field, where they needed to be to do the pieces that they did, right? So, but he understands the weaknesses of his own team, right? And so, I think that he really he plays chess. You know, we always talk about Bill Belichick.
Oh, sure.
It's like, you know, he is a chess player. He's looking like 5-10 moves ahead.
Right. He's got the
And
whole move ahead
so,
of him.
right, and so he's gonna go in there. That's why he beat the Rams twice, right? So because he knows that their special teams doesn't suck, right? We saw, right? The kicker, you know, they know what they're doing. And so he knows what he's going to have to exploit, right? We're gonna see it. They're gonna double team Cup, right? Because they know that's the, you know,
He's the man.
they're gonna make sure they know that Stafford throws picks. So they're gonna make sure that, you know, the San Francisco defense, they came to play. We know their defense, we can't they shut down two teams very easily, right?
Right.
So again, they're gonna double coverage Cup. They're, you know, and they're gonna go after Stafford as much times. They're gonna exploit his picks that he throws sometimes, which is not that people don't throw picks, but they know, right? And so I just, it's not. I still give it to the Rams, but
Okay, so you're picking the Rams in this
I'm
game.
still picking the Rams, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners won. Is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I watched the games this weekend and 49ers win, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't believe they won. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, I got. What about Chiefs Bengals? Why don't you give us a little bit of who you got for Chiefs Bengals?
I still give the W to the Chiefs, even though I want Bengals to win. The only reason is because that O-line is suspect as heck. Now, unless a miracle happens and that they figure out how to protect and give him time to actually pass the ball, right? Not get sacked 9 times. They might have a chance, right? But they have Mahomes on the other end that if he gets sacked 9 times, if they make them fumble, he's gonna score points. There's no right there. He is
normally
gonna ball out.
Right? They normally do. Terrific offense.
And so my W goes to the Chiefs, but I hope Bengals win. So Rams, Chiefs.
Rams, Chiefs. All right, Mr. Handy, give us your impressions and who you got in both games.
You said impressions. I was like, it's just like not yet, Shay. This isn't a Shay moment.
I heard that too. I heard that too.
I was setting you up, but okay, whatever you want to do, man. I'm just,
I'm here for you, man. I cannot get in sync with you today, Mr. Rosario. I have no idea.
We are not connecting. This is not Shaq and Kobe right now. We are off. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. I try to get the ball to Kobe. Kobe throw the ball out of bounds. Kobe.
Man,
anyway,
you terrible.
Guarantee. Okay, there was 2 of them right together. But 49ers Rams. To be completely honest, I, as an Atlanta fan, have firsthand experience. And shout out to my man Kyle Yates in the comments, said the same thing. As Shanahan, as any kind of coach in any kind of capacity, I mean, he was essentially the mastermind behind that offense that got us to the Super Bowl. And we know how that went. 28-3. We did that's never. I'm never going to be able to look at 28 minus 3 or 3 minus 28 ever again and not think about that. And we see what has happened with him. I mean, he's been in the Super Bowl before. Not taking anything away from him as a coach. I think he's an excellent coach. I don't know what it is. It's kind of one of those things in the movie where the character has a pivotal moment where he can never punch with his left hand or catch a ball over his right shoulder. There's something with Shanahan that when he gets right to that crucial moment, something just doesn't go right. And that's whether it's going to be Jimmy G throwing a pick or some key player that they really need getting hurt at the time when there's too much time on the clock. And I'm just going to be honest. I've said this. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. Matt, if there's anybody that can be a giant killer, besides Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford has done it before. Matt Stafford has looked the giant in the face and said, I'm not scared of you. You know what I mean? He's the only quarterback besides Stetson Bennett to beat Nick Saban at the college level from university. The only quarterback besides Stetson Bennett from the University of Georgia to beat Nick Saban. And he can make this, and Matt Stafford can make this happen. Plus that defense, like I said, the Rams defense is hitting on all cylinders right now.
Sure.
All 8 cylinders right now. Those guys are just stupid. You know, that one I'm going to give to the Rams. Okay. I don't think they win pulling away, but I think they managed to keep this one at arm's length.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be as decisive as lead as they had in the first half last week, but I think they're going to have this one at arm's length. I got the Rams winning this one by at least a touchdown and a half, 10 points.
Okay.
Chiefs Bengals, whole different animal. It doesn't matter if you've ever played Uno. You can throw cards all day and you can be killing it, but there's always that unknown, that draw 4 card, and you never know where it is, and you don't know where it's coming from if you don't have it in your hand. And the draw 4 card stands under center for the Kansas City Chiefs, and his name is Patrick Mahomes II. I mean, how can you, Skip Bayless? How can you? Look at a guy that don't. How could you hate a guy that put ketchup on his steak? The boy say he unique. The boy said, you want me to throw it underhanded? I toss it underhanded. You say pass it down the middle. He pass it down the middle. The boy can even switch from right to left hand and throw left-handed. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing that I have not seen Patrick Mahomes not be able to do. It is very rare. It's been a rare occasion, except maybe for the first part of the season this year, where he's just completely gotten jammed up and unable to perform. I watched him bend it like Beckham the other day. I don't know if I mentioned that the other day. He threw a pass, and it was it was almost like he was trying to throw it from way out in left field. You ever watch a left fielder crank up to chuck the ball on home plate? It's like he cranked up way back here. The mechanics of the throw was ridiculous. But if you watch the ball in the instant replay, this was from Sunday's game, it out and back in. And I was like, I don't know how the hell that boy did that. But yeah, so that's your wild card there. I think Joe Burrow is going to give the Chiefs defense everything he can give them and then some. And Kate, I'm sorry, I know that's your guy, but that O-line, I mean, he got sacked 9 times the other day. Now, on the flip side of that, Joe Burrow might surprise us. You know, he might pull a T'Challa on us and say, as you can see, I am not dead. So we shall see. We'll see come Sunday. But right now, as it is, I'm going Rams in the NFC, Chiefs in the AFC.
All right, sounds good. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Spencer, my friend, my pal, my amigo,
La Familia.
Yeah, you too. La Familia. There it is. La Familia.
My guy.
But my guy, hey, well, I can go on all day with
my
adjectives,
guy.
my friend. That's my guy. You're my guy. Hey, my guy.
My guy. Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's right.
Surprise! This whole time it was Sean.
That was my guy. Exactly. Always,
That's your twin.
always and forever, my man. You are always my guy.
Did you see that? Like the big reveal at the end of Scooby-Doo? It'd be like, let's just see who this guy is. And they pull it off of Sean's head. And he just goes, it's me, Mario. You know,
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's right.
No, I mean, we got to
give us what you got, buddy. What do you think this weekend?
I mean, I think this is just. I mean, honestly, this weekend is littered with games that have happened, games that we've seen before. If we want to go back in history and look at it, the Rams and the 49ers played in 1989, and the 49ers were coming on, their dynasty with Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Roger Craig, you know what I mean, Bro Manasky, all those guys, and just stomped out the Rams 30-3. You know what I mean? And which was a pretty good Rams team. Jim Everett and Flipper Anderson, Kevin Green, some of those guys.
True.
And then if we want to bring it up to recently, as we've seen, the last 4 or 5 matchups, the 49ers have beat the Rams. Shanahan knows what he's doing. Shout out to him. And to that point, I know you can't forget about 28-3, but I can't forget about that first half either, man. He put up 28-3 on the GOAT. You know what I mean? And hey, that's what we know. The playoffs, to your point, Delilah, like you said all the time, the playoffs are a different realm. It's a different beat. Each quarter, in my opinion, is a game. So I think this game, the Rams and the 49ers, I got the Rams going. Obviously, that's my pick, but also it's somebody else's pick. I'm just hopping onto it. Thank you, Captain. I think this game is going to bring up the question again that we had to ask this past week because of the Bills-Chiefs game, and it's going to be about overtime. I think this thing is like a 30-27 game that is ended in overtime, and we're all going to sit here and be like, oh, man, we wish we could see this again because what have we been saying all year about divisional games, Delilah? They hit differently. They're just a different animal. You played each other 2 times a
Yep.
year. You know the other team. And then again, similar with the Chiefs and the Bengals. The Chiefs and the Bengals played before this season.
Mhm.
Bengals were able to get the W. I think it was 34-31, and prove that they could do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs last 4 years, 4 AFC Championship games. I got to shout out Andy Reid because I think he gets lost in all this. Only coach in NFL history to take 2 different franchises to 4 straight championship games. Conference championship. He did it with the Eagles 4 straight years where he finally was able to get over the hump. And then he did it with the Chiefs where he's gotten himself a Super Bowl. He's been there twice, and he's been on the cusp, for now the 4th time. So I'm going to actually go. I'm going to go Bengals on this one. And Anthony, you pushed me to this decision because I shouted, and Delilah, you know it. I gave you a hard time about it. I shouted that daggone. I mean, I didn't shout him out. I sat there and criticized him, ridiculed him. This is your golden boy, and you let him get knocked down 9 times, and those guards and tackles were getting blown up. Some of them, it didn't even look good. It was rough. But Anthony, you did say he got up 9 times. Yeah. And I got to shout out my girl, Janae Struther, who was talking about it yesterday. Keep going. Even if you're in the storm, you keep going. That's something. And if you looked at his press conference, he sat there and said, you know what, man? You know what we love about him is swagger. He said, I'm tired of this whole underdog thing. We play football just like everybody else. We've been balling out. You have Jamar Chase. You have Burrow doing it. Mixon is a baller. Like, I honestly think Joe Burrow. I mean, I know what Janae calls Josh Allen, the massive piece of magic. He's got to come up with something outside of Joey B. He might be the piece of magic or something. I don't know. I'll wait for Thursday night at 6:30. Let's Talk Football Ladies Takeover.
Oh man,
there you go.
Put the plug in there.
I'm saying we'll have some sort of inspiration, I'm sure, by then.
right. But yeah, I personally think I think I'm gonna straight up go with the Rams versus the Bengals, and I'm with that. I like that. So,
man, all right, sounds good. Well, real quickly, I'm gonna get in what I think. I'll give my 2 cents here. Yeah, definitely 49ers Rams. I've been running Rams this whole playoff, so I'm going to keep going with them. I think Matthew Stafford has finally got the team he needed around him and is able to take that team and push them forward. So at least I have the Rams making the Super Bowl, beating the 49ers, probably by about, again, Mr. Ant, 7-10, I think is a good number. I'm going to go with that. Chiefs Bengals, man, this is so tough because after watching what happened last week, I was so on the Buffalo bandwagon, man. Like, this is it. Josh Allen came to play. He showed up. He really did. You can't fault that kid for anything. I mean, he didn't get the ball in overtime, and that's what happened. I mean, that's really what it came down to. Because it was going to be the last person who had the ball was going to win, right? That's how that game was going. And sure enough, that's what happened. So, no, you do. But I'm just saying, the last person to get the ball in that game looked like they were going to win. That was just the way that was going. So, again, with my heart, I want to say Bengals because I love Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase. Mixing the guys, T. Higgins, Boyd, they got they have the offense to stay with Kansas City. Is just the defense going to hold up? Is that line going to hold up? Because like you said, you can't get your quarterback sacked 9 times in a championship game. It's probably not going to do well for you. But so I am going to pick the Chiefs to win the game as much as I want the Bengals to win. I am going to go Chiefs-Rams for the Super Bowl. We'll see how that goes. And again, when we come back next Tuesday, we'll see who was right and who was wrong, and we'll preview all of that.
Yeah. I have the same picks too. Kate, user Facebook. I think that's Kate.
Is it Kate? Yeah, what Kate say? What
Kate or Cat?
Yeah, there you go. Well, as we've come, as Boyz II Men would say, to the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's so natural. Oh, here we go. See, go ahead. Come on. Come on, Wanye.
Don't let him die.
You said Wanye.
Well, Wanye, go ahead.
That's the food. Hey, look.
look
good.
like Sean Stockton,
do
who's
not.
like 6'4" and skinny. So
That was
Do
good.
not, do
Wanye.
not hate on my dude Wanye.
I will
Wanye is the only
never
person,
hate
that I have heard in R&B music that could do like Stevie Wonder and make his voice bend like liquid.
Right.
Yeah,
Like-
no, I got to give it to Wanye. Boys to Know was one of my favorites of the 90s. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, we come to that time of the show where we have one
Oh, well,
last
It never works for you. Why always cut out?
Yeah, buddy.
Who's cut out? Am I
That's
cut out?
it. No, it's like it never finishes. It, like,
yeah.
It always
ends at
starts
two.
on last.
Like
It
what
never
is
even
Oh.
get to one.
I don't know. I
Give
just hit
Sean the
button like
race
Sean told me to.
back.
I don't know. I don't know that. Oh wow! It's like that. Y'all
Go,
turned
and
on me
Nick,
already.
Nick, don't feel bad. I got this look. I got the same treatment. I got up and walked out the room, and she was like, this ain't like in the Avengers where Don Cheadle came in and just took the reins
Right.
from Terrence
Yeah,
Howard.
took
you
the
know? Don't feel bad. I knew it was coming. So
Yeah.
you now have been duly initiated member of the fraternity.
I'm loyal, sir. I'm a
Tough.
I'm loyal. I don't commit mutiny.
Yeah, you are killing me, Smalls. Well, I also, again, he joined us earlier in the program, Mr. Nathan Snell. So we're going to bring Nate Dogg back in for one last word. How you doing there, Nathan? How we doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right, so we're going to start with you then, our newly minted guest. What is your one last word for this week? What do you got for us?
One last word is I did this presentation for the church that I attend this past weekend.
Okay.
And I'm kind of going to go more into detail with it when I go live myself. I think
Nathan, when are you going live, Nathan? When are you going live?
In like 15 minutes.
There we go.
Guys still want to do my job. I'm just telling you, whatever.
Sorry, Nick.
It's all right. No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
Handy last week, you this week. What's the difference? I can't even just get, won't even let me get there. But I'm sorry.
Welcome
as
to the club,
you were
my friend.
saying, Mr. Snell, yes, go ahead.
We gotta be smart at the plate. When we deal with different things in life that we go through. I'm gonna go more into detail with it, but that's my last word. We got to be better. We got to be smart at the plate
Okay.
when we deal with situations in our lives, respectively.
Okay, fair enough. I look forward to hearing that later. Delilah, my dear, Delilah, you make me smile. What is your last word for this week?
So I'm sorry. I don't know how you even rhymed that, but that was funny.
You like that, right? I tried.
You're a poet, I see. No.
And I don't even know it, right? Yeah.
I see you rhymed that too. Look at you. You didn't even try, right? It just
Sometimes,
happened.
baby, sometimes.
No, I want to kind of like just follow with white shoes, and honestly, I dance like no one's watching. I know it's corny, but sometimes just dance it out, whatever it is, right? Just sing in the shower, whatever it is that you need to kind of like break the monotony of stuff, or like if you're feeling overwhelmed, because I know that there's so much coming at us, so many things going on in the world currently that are scary to me. Not just a pandemic, but there's stuff going on the other side of the world. If y'all have been paying attention, scary stuff is happening. I almost feel like we're entering another Cold War era. So some scary stuff, right? There's just a lot of intense stuff going on. It's hard sometimes to take a breather. And so basically, like, just do something to just kind of break that up, break that tension, that nervousness, the anxiety you have. Like, you know what I mean? Just whatever you need to do, like dance it off, work it out, like, I don't know, bust out a tune. Like, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know, do something that will kind of snap you out of that routine and just kind of just give you that relief, like whatever it is, a small moment, right? Find your small moment, like find a small moment to just do something that, could just kind of break you out of that dread and anxiety, whatever that is that you need. Even, something funny, like do the funky chicken dance, like, you know what I'm saying? Like something silly.
There it is.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just something silly like that. Like just
Yeah,
honestly,
for sure.
like, so, let's have some I don't know, just be silly. There's nothing wrong with that in the right dose, right? Let's just honestly, like, whatever that is, like, just kind of, if you have to,
I
I
like
don't
it.
know.
I always like
That's
to be
all.
safe. So I'm with you, girl. Right.
I
I'm
don't know.
good.
I know it may not seem as deep and profound as it
Nah,
usually is,
hey,
but I feel like sometimes like the things could be really overwhelming, and you
that's right.
could
Keep
feel
it
this.
simple.
Yeah, you could keep this. So just do something to kind of break out of that, whatever it
For
is.
sure. Mr. Handy, what is your last word this week, my friend?
Yeah, man. I actually got 2 words this week. I know, Nick, I'm going against the grain. All you tell
That's
Mr. Handy to come up with 1 word, he gonna
that's
have 2
right.
words.
That boy's good.
I got 2. Yeah, good and terrible. I thought for sure he was dead. Donation. I thought it was a trash can. Anyway, don't get me started on that, please, sir.
You assist.
Trying to give you the ball, bro. I'm trying to assist. Trying to give you the ball, bro.
Danny Dimes. There it is. Bow, right in there.
Is.
John Stockton.
That's right, baby. I am John Stockton. That's right.
I got 2 words for you today. Word number 1 is believe.
Okay.
Word number 2 is move.
Okay.
We got ourselves a small word yesterday from prophetess Janae Struther. A strong word, and she talked about not giving up. Now, the thing about not giving up, that just mean don't stop. I got a cough button over here. I love it. But you also have to, in the process of not giving up, you still have to believe. Whitney Houston told us a long time ago, you can't do miracles if you believe, and it's the truth. Boys to Men, even we were talking about Boys to Men earlier. They have a little known song on their album. It said, "Just you wait and see. I'll make you believe you can make this dream a reality." There's so many people right now that are just kind of in a state of, I don't know what I'm going to do. Economy's in the crapper. We can't find stuff in the grocery store. We can't do X, Y, Z. How am I going to make this thing I got here and get it over here? You had to believe, and then you had to move. Like, I don't want to do the whole sermon thing like Janae did last night, but something that came to my mind was there was a particular passage where the Israelites were going into war, and they were trying to decide who they were that were going to become soldiers. And they prayed, and then they got up and they moved. So they believed, and then they moved. It said faith without works is dead. So if you got something going on in your life that you are trying to, if you got anything, even if it's something as simple as I'm gonna start a lemonade stand, even if it's something as simple as yours truly, a couple years ago, this was before I met all of y'all. I'd been out of school I've been out of college for almost 30 years because I left college to join the Army, but I always wanted my bachelor's degree because I always told my kids, listen, I don't want you to go into debt to do it. If you got to go into debt, don't do it. But there's something that the one thing that you cannot be taken away from you is your education. And I said, I'm going to get my degree. And this spring will be 2 years since I got my bachelor's degree. I went and got my bachelor's degree. I believed I could do it. I knew I could do it. But nothing happened about me getting it until I moved to go get it. So believe and move. I'm gonna be brief because I don't want to do the. I definitely don't want to. I mean, we had a TD Jakes.
I didn't come to preach to you.
We had a sermon last night of TD Jakes' epic proportions last night. But I just wanted, like Nick Cannon said, I just want to throw a little something extra on the end. So
there you go.
That's it. Believe and move. First thing to do is believe it. It says if you can believe it, then you can conceive it, then you can achieve it. So believe and move.
I like
Say
it.
it with me, everybody. I want everybody in the congregation to say it with me.
Believe
and move.
I like it. Mr. Spencer, what do you got for
I'm
us
giving
this
Anthony his fingers. He wants
right,
me to do this.
Yeah,
Yo.
buddy.
Mr. Spencer, one last word, sir.
Real quick, two things real quick, and I have to say this. I wasn't going to say the first one, but they impressed me so much. Be ye always ready, and that goes to our dear host, Nicholas Rosario.
What?
You are absolutely amazing. And if
come
it
on.
takes us telling you how amazing you are, then that needs to be told. That needs to be said. Okay, I know that you had a little bit of about taking and running this and doing, being in charge of this. But
Well, I mean,
when you were put in that position a week ago, I don't think we skipped a beat. Nothing switched up. You know the game. You know all about us, and you have the most important part. You care. You care about people. The thing, my misconception is that all you got to do is read stats and read facts and this and that, and that's how you do football. No, we built in this, like with Janae, is we care about people. Nicholas Rosario, I've talked to you late nights. I've talked to you early mornings. I've talked to you 7 days a week. You have already been built for this. You already know. And
That's
like I
nice
said
of you to
yesterday, all of you, in my opinion, could have your own show. I mean, right now, 3 out of the 5 people on here host their own show. Well, actually, well, shoot, now I could just say 5 of us. Because Delilah, you do host on Thursdays, and Nick, you today, like, so nobody in this group is without that ability to do that. But like he said, believe. But what I really want to focus on today is one of the CEOs of the Let's Talk Football family. In the beginning, there was 4. It was started with 2 of us,
Right.
and then it grew into 4 of us.
Okay.
The 2, obviously, Janae Struther. She approached me, Sean Spencer, the one who challenged me, my dear Catherine Hughes, obviously. But there's one man that I don't think gets nearly enough recognition. And there's one man that does so many things in the background that people don't see, and he needs to be lifted up. My guy, my Mr. 56-14, Mr. David Wright. Brother, I love you so dearly. And you guys got to understand, before David Wright came a part of this, it was just her and I talking. I was making a couple of videos. There was no traction whatsoever.
Right.
When David came in, I said, David, I'm doing a lot of this. All I need you to do is go on Facebook and make a Facebook group. Not only did he make the Facebook group, but he started to add the people in, the Sydneys, the Ashes, the Daltons, bringing people in, trying to get them to see the vision. David works his tail off. For those of you that don't know, he is a manager at a restaurant, and Delilah, you have talked about, you've been outspoken about, we need to treat our wait staff and our service industry a lot better. He has dealt with so many things, and every opportunity he gets, he hops on here. Yeah. David Wright, him and I, and this I know I love him, we bumped heads a bunch of times, but at the end of the day, we see the vision. We see where we're going. Right. When this thing really takes off, he will be one of the CEOs, one of the 4 that is the 4 brain trust of this thing.
Sounds good.
And I definitely think David Wright needs. I'm giving you your roses right now because right. David Wright, you were with me in sports marketing junior year in 1999 2000 under Mrs. Pettibone, and we were sitting there. David, you and I have hung out. Back when guys had, buddies had sleepovers and stuff. Playing video games and hanging. Yo, Dave, you have been one of my most dear and best friends. And the thing that you guys don't know is that you guys see what happens once the record button goes on and once we go live. Right. But only a select few see what happens after the fact. Right. David has been up there late nights with me, and David has been one of the reasons why we're still going. I'm not going to get too in detail about it, but there have been certain times where I didn't see. That's why I reacted the way I did yesterday. What Janae said, I didn't see the end, and I didn't see it. And a lot of it, I just took all the heat of whatever was going on. And David was one of those that just kept telling me, you have to keep going because you don't understand the reach that you have with the people that you're in touch with. The fact that look at what the different things represented. You got Baltimore down there with Big Nate Talk Podcast. You got Chicago, Illinois here. You got Oklahoma and essentially Georgia as well with Anthony and Zagnit Productions and all this stuff. You know, we got Will and Ab and Janae and Ash and Katie and there are so many people represented here, all on a common goal, and that's not easy to run. It's not easy to do. But David, you have reinstilled that heart and revitalized me. So there you go, man. I gotta show love to y'all. Be always ready, man. And hey, you got this.
I love it.
You already know what it is.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate that. Thank you, Sean. It's funny because, again, I'll do whatever. Like, this is just one of those things where, like, I just like to have a good time, man. And if I can do that, talking movies, talking sports, talking talking crap, whatever, it's just, life is life, man. We're only here for a short time, right? We got to enjoy the time we have. Life can get you down sometimes. Life can throw curveballs at you. But at the end of the day, man, we're just here together on this planet to just have a good time, love each other. You know what I mean? Life is too short, man. Nothing for all that other BS. I know there's plenty in life enough to keep you busy and to keep you distracted, that when you get on something like this, man, let's just have a good time and have some fun. To that end, as we know, like I saw somebody earlier say, they wanted some Nick karaoke, and far be it from me to keep my fans from, as you know, this past weekend, Meatloaf died.
Yeah, I
the
know.
singer Meatloaf. Now, you got to understand something. This guy was an idol of mine. When you get a 300-pound guy who can sing like that, like, how does that not inspire a chubby kid like me, playing Bat Out of Hell when I was like 6 years old, listening to this music going, this is phenomenal. This is what I want to do when I'm older. Like, how do you not, how did I not have dreams of being Meatloaf? Like, for real. It was like one of the greatest things in the world. And it's funny because, I thinking about what I was going to say for a last word, everybody always has something pretty profound, and I get that. Like I said, we're all intelligent people here. We all have things we care about and love and things we want to say and do. But I did want to end on a lighthearted note, because I just think if you've ever listened to a Meatloaf song, his writer was a guy named Jim Steinman, and Steinman wrote all these like crazy lyrics, and he would make puns that you had no idea what they were. Like, the lyrics were so dated that you would hear lines of the song and go, what the hell is he talking about? Like, there's a great line in one of his most popular songs called 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad, where he's singing obviously about lost love and all this, but he says, I'll sing it, fine. You'll never drill for oil on a city street. I know you're looking for a ruby in a mountain of rock, but there ain't no Coupe de Ville hiding at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box. Now, where in the hell do you get a line like that from, Red? Who the hell is going to hide a car in a Cracker Jack box? I love it. But that's the kind of stuff that Jim wrote, and that's Meatloaf singing his heart out with those kind of lyrics. How do you not love that? But anyway, so shout out to my guy, Meat. You were an inspiration to me always. I enjoyed everything you did. May you rest in peace, sir. Again, and that's what I say, guys. We all know we're here for the whatever amount of time we're here. I'm just trying to enjoy it. I want to thank Sean for the opportunity to host this show. Seriously, you're the best, man. I love you, Nate. You're still here with us. You're going on very shortly.
Yes,
Please,
sir.
anybody who's listening, Nate's going to be going live on his YouTube channel, Big Nate Podcast. Look for it, subscribe, give him the likes, give him the whole bit. Mr. King of Late Night, guys, taking it over. It's phenomenal. Thank you, Nate, for being with us today. Go ahead and go prep for your show, man. Of course, I also have the lovely and talented Delilah Crespo.
Hey.
Delilah knows I'm just kidding. I love this girl to death. Delilah and I have known each other now about 8 or 9 years.
Jesus, yeah, a long time.
We've spent many a time in the firing line at that damn Packers bar we like to go to.
Well, we love that place.
Our
Don't
beloved
get it
Bears,
twisted.
right? You know I do too. I got number love for my buddies. But listening to those guys, man, Delilah and I would be in the corner bar trying to keep each other sane. Mr. Handy, it's been a pleasure to meet you, sir. Again, a guy whose mind kind of runs like mine, man. I always got stuff running through my head I want to say or I want to do, or somebody says something, I want to make a joke, and like
all the time.
So having to meet you, man, I'm like this guy, and we're the long lost brother from somebody's mother. I'm telling you,
dude.
But anyway,
I'm telling you, having an office job and having to sit in a meeting and somebody say something
right?
in the meeting, and I'm just like,
you can't do it right. I can't say nothing, but I want to right. Bite your sleeves, drink your coffee, whatever.
Pinch myself in the leg.
Yeah,
it's like Dave Chappelle said, every brother needs an old black guy to jump up and go, "Don't do that."
Don't do it. Exactly.
It's in the back of my head. That's what I got. One of those.
I love that.
So thank you, Mr. Handy. Again, you got anything coming up this week for us, Anthony?
We are going to be going on tomorrow. We just to push back. We decided for the next couple of weeks, at least until the until the Super Bowl is done, we're going to push back to Wednesdays just to make so, because we don't want to pull. We all want to kind of put our input into Let's Talk Football on Mondays following the Sunday shows.
Sure.
So, I want to jump in and throw my 2 cents in. So we are moving this week in the SEC. Yeah, I just wanted to call my show Let's Talk in the SEC. Let's talk football. The SEC. I don't need. They just told me that we were going to have to call it with Let's Talk Football. I said, well, we're talking football. He said, no, that's the name of the show. He said, Let's Talk Football. I said, who you want to talk about? He said, no, fool, that's the name of the show. So this weekend, the SEC is moving to until the Super Bowl is done. We're going to go on Wednesdays, and Sean and I will figure out who's on first, what's on second.
Yeah, I don't know who's on third. Right?
But we'll be on Wednesdays until the Super Bowl is over.
Okay, very good. And of course, Mr. Spencer, we know you're everywhere, but Mondays especially, you and Janae got the show 6:30 Eastern time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we definitely see you. And then, of course, with every other show, you'll just be floating around and doing whatever you do. But
you know what just hit me?
What just hit
me? Sean is like the Charles Nelson Riley of podcasts.
Oh wow, here we go.
That's like a throwback. And see, you the only one that got that. They just kind of nodded. They were like, "Who is he talking about?"
I got it.
Not Charles. No, yeah, Charles Nelson Riley. Center Square, Hollywood
Square. Pat yelled out. She got it.
I got the reference. I got it.
Yeah. So Monday night, obviously, Let's Talk Football with myself, Janae Struther.
Right.
Tuesday night, you guys already see the Roundtable, 8:30. Wednesday night, you already heard Anthony's talking about it. Washington Football Weekly. I don't know if they're going to be going on this week, but we will definitely be going on the following week because on February 2nd, 2022, the new name will come out.
Right, the name comes out. There it is. Right.
The best show in our group Thursday night at 6:30.
There it is.
The Football Ladies Takeover.
That's right.
Who it's going to be groundbreaking because for the first and potentially only time, there will be a male on there.
Ooh, yes, right. We gotta shake it up.
Oh no!
Hey, we're breaking the glass ceiling. We're breaking the glass ceiling for men.
That's right.
Here we go. Here you go.
And one more. I can't overlook this one. Sunday, Let's Talk Football Sunday. We got a good thing, Nick and Nathan. I know you guys can agree with me.
Absolutely.
Myself, Nicholas Rosario, Nathan, Snell, and then the biggest, our secret weapon, Mr. Encyclopedia himself,
genius, man.
Dylan Walsh.
Yes.
Yeah, he's amazing. And then you also got, Ash came on, Kyle Yacey came on. That we
our buddy from Canada. It's all about. Hey,
so we definitely got the door open for that. But that's what we're doing. You already know what it is, Nick. You already know what it is. So I might be giving you the reins sometimes. There's a lot. There's a lot on my plate.
Protesting that she wants you back. No, I'm kidding.
No, I love
I want you back.
I love you guys. No, again, thank you, Sean, for the opportunity. It's been a fun ride.
She wants Don Cheadle back.
Right. It's been a fun 2 weeks. Again, I will take this as long as
I make one Avengers reference.
But listen again.
Hey, everything sticks around here.
It stinks. What do you say? Stinks around here or stinks? Oh,
Every,
stinks.
all the nicknames stick, man.
They really do though. That's so
I'm like,
true though.
You giving Sean love. I got people in the comments going the shout out king, like
Right. Right.
Oh.
So
I don't know where did that come from.
I gave that to you.
Where does that come from? Oh, he gave it to you, I guess.
Because you shout out everybody. Be like, you know what? I was sitting on the couch and my lovely fiance, Kat, y'all know Kat. She's a Michigan lady. They love Detroit, West Virginia. And I was sitting on the couch and my baby brought me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was like, babe, how did you know I wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? So shout out the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Very
My shout outs are my shout outs are reserved for people. Anthony.
That's right.
But real quick, you know why I do that? You know why I do that? And so when I shout people out, then like you said in the comments, now people know them. Everybody knows that. I've told her you are one of the most popular people in Let's Talk Football.
That's very true.
And you've been on what 2% of the shows. But when I shout people out, it's giving them their due. I said Cat, man.
I didn't know what he was talking about, man. I was listening.
You thought I said Cat Williams. Okay, that's
right. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna step back over here in my corner. Pip got to do what he got to do. Okay.
You see what we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen? No,
I love it.
We love it. No, we do love it. So again, for Nathan Snell, Delilah Crespo, Anthony and his 15 personalities handy, Mr. Sean Spencer. I am your host, Nick Rosario, for this week. Thank you very much. Much love to everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Tuesday, okay, folks?
All right.
Peace.
Y'all now you here?
Love you guys.
Hello, everybody. Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Janae Strother. I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. Here, the lion. New man on the so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Bonus coverage.
And we're out. Take that, boys. No, I'm kidding.
It still says live, Nick.
What do you mean? We're still on. I just ended the broadcast. Oh, that's good. Thank you for kids. You got to